Nini everyone, Mary here. And I just wanted to say that this is gonna probably be a different video for the most part, from the other ones that I've done previously. Shut up, Rocky. That's my dog. um, cause I recently got in my subscription feed from a guy who know his username is ThePaganDetective on YouTube, but I also know him as Josh. From the Following the Sun forum, and he recently made a video about Otherkin and, like, kind of sort of crazy people, and this kind of came from Rocky. Dogs, right? But that dog is going to be the death of me, I swear. But I'm trying to keep on focus. I am not having it today. I had a good day. I had a really good day. Because I have an interview for a job on the 7th. And I also got some really cool books from Barnes& and Noble. And my favorite song came on the radio. So yeah, I come home and I decided I'm going to do this video. And my dog keeps barking. So I can't have everything perfect. But yeah, Josh and his video, and it all came from some stuff on the Following of the Sun forum, because a lot of people on the forum have a different set of opinions about a few topics than Josh does, and it's caused quite a bit of contention on the forum, and I guess he brought it onto YouTube, and so I wanted to just, talk about it myself and put in my 2 cents, and, even though he and I don't agree on, a lot of these topics, we don't see eye to eye. I try to keep civil as well as I can. Um, so this is my response to him, and why I think the way I do about these certain topics. And I don't mean to cause a fight or, cause more drama or anything. This is just, I'm going to keep it as civil as I can. And I hope he does too if he chooses to respond to my video or anything. And full disclaimer, he talks about Otherkin in his video pretty much. And for, that type of disclaimer, I just want to say I have never really had very much contact at all with anybody who claims to be Otherkin. And Otherkin is when you believe that you're part something else, like like a mythical creature, or you were reincarnated from being like a dragon or an elf, or something like that. I probably don't have the best understanding of it, because I'm pretty skeptical when it comes to those sorts of things. But if you want to look it up, I'm sure you can come to your own conclusion, and I encourage you to. Don't take my word for it. But anyway, it was talking about the line of acceptance, or practicing discernment or discrimination within paganism, and I guess pretty much asking the question of why we, or a lot of pagans, accept Otherkin as pagan. And, obviously I can't speak for everyone when we're talking about this sort of idea, but for me, if a person practices paganism, as in, mostly nature-based, polytheistic, or, like in Wicca, duotheistic, na yeah, nature-based, or, reverence for nature, any kind of that falls under that pagan umbrella, to me, you're pagan. Whether or not, you have some other stuff going on in your life that, I may or may not like. And he was also talking about standing up to criminals and charlatans, and, I totally agree with that. I agree that we should, like you have, like with an example, James Arthur Ray. He's the author of The Secret, and he recently came under fire, and he was actually, in jail for a while because he appropriated or misappropriated what is it called? A sweat lodge ceremony, which comes from Native American beliefs, and 3 people died because, he made some mistakes in how you should build one and how you should conduct a ceremony, and some people died because, they got like dehydrated or, um, over extended themselves in the stay, and they became hyperthermic, um, and they died because of that. And I totally agree that we should stand up to people like that, and it's like, not in our house. You can't misappropriate different rituals for your own gain, especially if you're not Native American or have never been trained by people who know how to do that sort of thing. Um, and people who are, lying or committing fraud for money, that sort of thing. I totally agree that we should stand up to those people and say, not in our house. You can't stay under a pagan umbrella. In the case of Otherkin, though, I kind of take it as the same way as like committing a crazy person. Only in the case of if they're harming themselves or others would I ever, hey, you need to get help, that sort of thing. Because to me, I guess it's a bit more along the lines of live and let live, but also, you know, it's their life and not mine. And, even though I think they're out to lunch, um, if they want to be crazy, let them be crazy, I guess. But I wanted to get into the other reason I was going to talk about this because of, he's like, well, why don't we stand up to these sorts of things and say, well, you're not pagan. Um, So I guess this kind of falls under the lines of pagans being accepting of otherkin, or otherkin generally being drawn to paganism. And I think for a lot of people, paganism is already kind of loony. You have a large atheist community on YouTube, and they believe that theism is pretty crazy as it is. It doesn't matter which kind of crazy theism. It's could be Christianity, could be Islam, could be paganism. Who knows? But for a lot of people, if you're not atheist, then you're not a realist. And I think that's what was going on in on the forums and stuff, because for pagans, in Comedics especially, we believe in deities, which we cannot prove. They're unverifiable. Well, we know them through personal experience, but we can't prove them objectively through, say, science. Um, So I think that's why a lot of people think that we're already loony, and I think that's why it was brought up in the forums. We also believe in magic, and a lot of people don't. Um, and it is what it is. But people like theism will not often not believe in things that they can't taste, touch, see, or hear. That sort of thing. So if you can't prove it through objective and empirical means, then they think you're loony. And likewise, otherkin is not verifiable via, um, uh, empirical means. So I think that's why, like in my case, I don't believe them, but in another case, I can see why other people would accept them, because this sort of thing isn't verifiable through, normal means. And we're also open-minded to reincarnation, and I know a lot of people who do believe in, say, fairies or dragons or different things like that. So, you have those kinds of things already in place within paganism that would allow somebody to say, I'm a reincarnated dragon or fairy or something of the sort of, and some people will say, well, okay. Um, and likewise, occult and magic, again, non-verifiable, and it attracts those kinds of people who are into that sort of thing. And you know, if they believe in fairies and dragons and stuff like that, or dragons and fairies can be reincarnated as humans, they might also believe in that sort of thing too. Um, and also pagans are accepting, or the live and let live type. So either They're like, oh yeah, you can be totally pagan and be this way and that, and we believe you, or like me, um, I don't believe you, but I don't care, and I'll let you do your thing. Um, and also, he mentioned this one organization of like, I guess they believe they're vampires and they're associated with offset. You have independent organizations, or they're just unaffiliated with anything else. I mean, you can organize and nobody's going to shake a stick at that and say, well, you can't do that, because they're not affiliated with any particular tradition. So they're out of that hierarchy. They're not part of like British traditional Wicca. They're not a Kemetic, or they're not like, associated with the House of Netcher or anything like that. So, they're free to organize as they please. And I guess in our case, we can either take it or leave it, but they're allowed to do what they want because it's a free country. This is the United States, or, if you live in another country, you're probably living in a democratic society where you have the freedom of religion or freedom to assemble, and, nobody can stop you from doing that. And I'm certainly not, but that's just me. And I guess last but not least, you just get tolerance from other groups. I mean, if somebody claiming to be Otherkin was to join the eclectic group that I belong to, you might get a few nods. It's like, okay, yeah, sure. Or for me, it's like, I don't believe you. You have to prove it to me before I believe you're a reincarnated elf or something like that. But I will tolerate them and I will be civil to them because, you know, they're human now, so what does it matter to me? I don't believe them, but, it's not like I'm going to, make it an issue. It's not a hill to die on for me. If you want to believe some crazy mumbo jumbo, I'm not going to stop you. I mean, I will fully support a Mormon or a Scientologist, or anybody, who believes in some of those non-mainstream types of things to believe what they want, because they have a right to, according to, I live in the United States, and according to the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights, there's no establishment of religion, and thus they have the freedom to practice however they wish. And I'm not going to stop them from that. Um, and I guess in general terms, paganism is an umbrella term, and Wicca is just the most recognizable one for the most part. So, you might have, those more fluffy kinds of different things going on. And we need further education for other traditions like Kemeticism or some of the other Reconstructionist religions. I remember him saying, oh yeah, Kemeticism isn't a nature religion. I beg to differ, and you should probably watch my uh, last video before this one, because I talked directly about that topic, and I guess that's another one for another day, but watch it and you'll see what I mean. Um, and I just want to say there are a lot of loonies in paganism, and it's much like any other religion. You're going to find junk info and crazy people, and it's just something that we have to deal with. I mean, you can go about, saying that they're loony and that they need to go to a hospital, but at the end of the day, what's that really going to accomplish for you? Um, I could have done that. And, you know, but what's that going to accomplish? If you meet an otherkin person and you tell them that, what are they going to say? Well, that you're out to fucking lunch, and they don't have to take that kind of stuff from you, and they're going to go on and do whatever they want. Um, so for me, yeah, it's like I said, it's kind of that hill to die on for me. Is it really something that I want to fight about right here or right now? And whether or not I really want to do anything with that. I mean, if I ever do meet an otherkin person online or in real life or something, well, I'm going to probably just be polite to them and say, well, I don't believe you for such and such reasons. I don't believe that a non-corporeal being like a fairy or a dragon or this or that or the other thing would incarnate as a human, and a bunch of stuff about reincarnation and, my philosophies on those sorts of things, just kind of state my case as to why I don't believe That's my thing. Maybe it's not yours. I don't agree with you. We can agree to disagree. Please don't talk about that stuff in front of me unless you want me to debate you some more. But I'll stay civil with them. And that's kind of the same thing with transgender. We've had issues with that on the forums before too. And I think that's a little bit different. But he argues that it's a mental illness, and whether it's a mental illness or not, I don't think you should treat those people kind of like rudely or anything like that, or call them it, or you could go on, but you should, no matter who someone is, if they're otherkin or if they're transgender or insert condition or whatever here. I don't think that you should treat people rudely. I say state your piece, use your logic, and just step out then. If they're not going to accept your logic, then that's just it. Uh, I could treat, people who don't believe in evolution with name calling and different things like that, but I don't, because I can see that it's not going to get me anywhere. And I think that that's something that everybody needs to kind of think about. Where's your hill to die on? What's the best and most persuasive way that you can convince somebody of your side of the argument, and how to treat people in general, because you have to go throughout the pagan community, and you're going to have to meet some odd ducks. There's odd ducks in every group, and if you don't treat them like everyday human beings, then you're probably not going to get along very well in the pagan community in general. So that's all I really got to say. You can, I guess, berate me to no end if that's what you want, or you can, argue logically with me. It's no, never mind to me. But that's pretty much all I've got. And thank you, and some nut tea.